Hello my friends and welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm going to talk about opiate addiction and how getting free of opiates was one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life, but also the best thing I've ever done in my life. At the end of this video I've linked a video I made a while back on opiate withdrawal and how to prepare for it, get through it in the most comfortable and effective way possible. So have a look at that. Just before I go into the video, if my videos have helped you at all over the years and you feel like you want to show the channel a little support, then please take a moment to click on the Ko-fi link in the description. It really would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. I want to talk a little about opiate addiction, my opiate addiction, because I was thinking about it the other day. I was out on a walk and I was thinking how wonderful it felt to be free. But it wasn't that long ago that I was in the grip of opiate addiction. If you follow the channel over the years, you'll know that I've struggled with many drugs and many addictions. Alcoholism has been an issue for me most of my adult life, I suppose. Also, there's been addictions around cocaine and benzodiazepines, that I managed to get rid of in the end. However, there's no other drug that literally took my mind, body and soul so quickly and took everything from me so quickly than opiates. And I'll give you my theory why and how I actually got eventually free from them, because it was extremely difficult. And any of you out there watching this video that are trying to get off opiates at the moment or have managed it, if you've managed it, I sincerely take my hat off to you. You have my utmost respect, because it was bloody tough and you are a warrior if you've done that. But for those of you who are still in the midst of it, I want to tell you now, there is hope. You can do it. It will be the hardest thing you'll probably ever do, but it is possible because I've done it, and I know that you can do it as well if you prepare for it and grit your teeth and get through it. And I'll explain how in a second. The thing about addiction, and many of you will know this already, that for most people, addiction is based on pain. Some sort of mental, physical, emotional, spiritual pain. And it becomes a matter of self-medicating that pain with whatever substance eases it for you temporarily. The thing with opiates and what makes them so seductive and why people get addicted to them so quickly and so severely is that they are a painkiller, a natural painkiller. Opiates come originally from the poppy, from opium, morphine, and refined on from there. Of course, these days, there's many derivatives of that, and you'll know particularly all over the world really, but particularly in America, fentanyl is a massive problem and killing many people at the moment because it's appearing in not just heroin, opiate drugs, it's appearing in lots of other drugs as well and causing many fatalities. And of course, there's many derivatives now of opiates. Again, you'll know in America, oxycodone, Oxycontin, Vicodin, Percocet, all of these things, and in the UK, less of that, more of sort of codeine-based things, and eventually tramadol, morphine, the list is endless. But the thing is, they're all extremely strong painkillers. I remember the first time I took opiates properly was in my 40s, believe it or not. because, as I say, there'd been a lot of issues around other drugs then before that, you know, alcohol and cocaine, all that, like I've mentioned. But it was an accident. I took opiates, really. It was for a genuine back injury. And they were strong opiates. I'd never taken strong opiates before. I think I had an operation when I was younger, and but obviously nothing had registered then. But I took these pills, and they were strong codeine pills, like 30 milligram codeine pills, and it was the most, for me, for an addict who has had this sort of hole in the soul that many of us have, this void inside of us, this inner pain, restless, irritable discontent, whatever you want to call it, unhappiness generally. If immediately everything just dissolved away as soon as I took these things, and those of you who take opiates will know it's like being wrapped in warm cotton wool, embraced, if you like. Immediately that hole closes, everything's right with the world. You feel comfortable, you're not alone anymore. You feel you can do anything, you're energized, you can achieve. And it hasn't got the sort of down, you're not falling over, staggering everywhere like you would be with alcohol. You know, it's very difficult for people to know when you're high on codeine. Obviously, if you're mainlining heroin, that's a different story, and that's where it'll eventually take your opiate addiction. It gets, you know, progressively worse very, very quickly. And the thing is, doctors say it really only takes 3 days of taking strong opiates and particularly if you're prone to addiction, for it to become a problem. 3 days. So you can imagine how quickly my issues escalated, because this thing solved everything. I didn't have to worry about people smelling alcohol on my breath, my family smelling alcohol on my breath. I didn't have to worry about staggering around at work. I was more focused in my job. This is all initially, obviously, before things got out of hand. And then it ripped everything from my life faster than anything I've ever known before. It reduced me into a thieving, lying, cunning, manipulating bastard is all I could say. It really took every ounce of my dignity, self-respect, morals. Everything disappeared within a matter of months, probably weeks, but months before it really took a toll. And as that progressed, my addiction progressed, because the thing is with opiate addiction, you never achieve, like most addictions, you never achieve that first high, and your tolerance level gets higher and higher and higher very, very quickly. The opiate sits on your receptors, your brain stops making dopamine. You're totally reliant on that drug to function within a matter of weeks. And you need stronger and stronger and stronger and bigger doses. I was manipulating the doctor for different pills, eventually up onto morphine, eventually buying street drugs, and so on and so on and so on over many years. It's well documented on the channel. You can look back on the videos around my opiate addiction. I'm not going to go through it all in here, but what I will tell you is that eventually there was literally no joy in my life at all. It was a matter of finding money was the major. It had taken everything. Then I was stealing from family, friends, you know, and I was someone who was running a business, you know, who had a great career, you know, and I was manipulating the tills at work, you know, taking money from there. I just had no morals at all, you know. You would just literally sell everything. I sold all my precious jewelry that was sentimental, you know, just to buy my drug of choice, to buy these opiates. And it took everything from me and eventually took my life, in as much as, you know, I had to separate from my family while I was getting through this. Eventually, you know, there was many occasions when I went through many opiate withdrawals, which is why I was able to make the video I've linked to the end of this, because I could never get past day 3. And there's a video, I made a video a week or so ago about 5 days to freedom, basically. And really, I could never get past day 3 of my opiate withdrawal because I just didn't prepare properly to start with. And for those of you who've been through opiate withdrawal, you'll know that it is a horrible thing to go through. And I'm not wishing to put the fear of God with those of you who haven't, but, you know, insomnia, restless legs are 2 of the worst things. And unless you've had those things, you feel like ripping your hair out. It's horrible, you know. And then all the other symptoms on top, the pain in your joints, the sweating, the massive dread and fear and anxiety that comes with it all, you know, the shaking, the trembling, the vomiting, the diarrhea, which is incredible. You know, you're not eating, you're not sleeping. It's awful. So getting past day 3 is a challenge for anybody. But I can tell you now, the final withdrawal I went through, I managed to get past day 3 and I got to day 5. And slowly but surely, it didn't solve everything overnight because we have all sorts of things. The body has to start getting into homeostasis, rebalancing, starting to heal, particularly your brain chemicals. And that takes a long time. But with the right diet, with the right exercise and with gritting your teeth and getting through it and getting the right support network in place, you can do it. You know, and I know there's many of you on here because you send me comments and some of you email me that really struggle and you can't get past this day 3, you know, because you can't tolerate it. And I can totally understand that because there was many times I couldn't. But eventually there's that one where you prepare properly for it, where you have everything in place and you say to yourself, right, this is the one. You know, and you get to day 5. I'm not saying if you get to day 5, that's the end of it. That's your life's going to be perfect from there on, because it takes a lot of hard work after that, particularly for the first few weeks and months, because you don't feel right. You have post-acute withdrawal syndrome a lot of the time if you've been heavily involved in opiates, where bits of withdrawal come back into your life. It can happen a year to 18 months after. It's just one of those things about the body rebalancing. Body's a miracle, but it takes time to heal. So what I'm trying to get across here is that, people don't really understand, unless you've been addicted to opiates, they don't understand how hard it is to get free of them. But I want to tell you now, I've been free of them for quite a long time now, and everything has come back into my life that I lost. You know, that dignity, that self-respect, self-care, honesty, integrity, whatever you want to call it, all those things I have back in my life, my family back in my life, my grandchildren in my life who've never seen me intoxicated, thank God, never will. You know, so many gifts. And as I was walking the other day, I was thinking, this is why I'm making this video today, you know, finding that freedom. You know, I look back on those times and I didn't see any light at the end of the tunnel. It was just darkness and I saw no way out. But there comes a point when it's life or death and you have to make that decision, prepare for it well, grit your teeth and become a warrior and get through to the other side, because you can do it, I promise you. So I understand, my friends, keep fighting, keep trying. If you fail, keep trying, because eventually it will stick. There's no doubt about that. And freedom from this stuff is an amazing thing. Carpe diem, much love to you all. Please take a moment to click on the Ko-fi link. Take care. Bye-bye.